We explain the rise of the labor movement. After viewing the other videos on the Industrial Revolution, you might be wondering, how did workers gain a higher standard of living? Cheaper, more available goods is part of the answer, but the other part is the Industrial Revolution had replaced medieval commercial capitalism with industrial capitalism. Commercial was mercantilism. This capital system of industrial mass production led to the development of a middle class, those who built factories and machines, invested, took risks, and opened up the markets to the four factors of production. As the middle class rose up on their profits, the workers who labored for them faced negative working conditions, much of which we've already discussed in previous videos. Early in the Industrial Revolution in England, groups of workers began to organize mutual aid societies to help immediate needs with their trade. The Napoleonic Wars had led to high food prices and unemployment, so laborers began to demand better conditions. Some labor groups, like the Luddites, smashed machinery because they saw it as a threat to their talents as craftsmen. Other British labor groups, like the Blanketers, marched off the job in protest in some of the very first labor strikes. They wanted better conditions in the wool and textile industry. Many of these trade union groups would be outlawed by most conservative laissez-faire governments. Some governments answered back with violence, like in the Peterloo Massacre in England or the Haymarket actions in Chicago. After the failed 1848 revolutions and the publishing of Das Kapital, many workers turned to socialism, which promised worker rights. Some trade unions began to form into labor unions, like the Knights of Labor or the American Federation of Labor, standing together with one voice to achieve change, not just in their trade, but in the whole labor system. Women workers took to striking at places like Lowell Mills in the post-triangle shirtwaist world. Led by the International Lady Garment Workers Union, they stood in solidarity for better conditions and pay. Labor unions tended to use tactics like strikes, boycotts, parades, and bargaining. Some used violence. Eventually, governments like the German states would see the benefit in abandoning laissez-faire to get productivity that came in granting worker rights. They created minimum wage, ended child labor, limited work hours, created social security pensions, and regulated the safety of the workplace. Labor actions froze the industrial machine, so many nations like the U.S. passed laws to increase the standard of living. These countries managed to prevent large-scale worker revolutions like what was to come in Russia.